you're a good company with good fundamentals, there's never a bad time to go public.
I'm John Janarone, Editor-in-Chief of IPO Edge. Thrilled to be back here at Nasdaq MarketSite. I have with me the founder and CEO, Mike Aiello. Mike, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Mike, let's introduce the world to Centri. Tell us how you help companies cultivate what we were just discussing is really a framework of governance and the way you run a company when you might go public someday.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe just to give a little more clarity, at Centri, we focus in 3 core areas, and that's helping companies navigate the capital markets, complete transactions, and overall achieve their growth goals. And our services are, of course, towered around that.
So, Mike, if you're an early stage company, you're 5 years old, do you still need to think about how you need to behave as a public company?
Yeah, the most important thing to prepare to be a public company is just that preparing, that getting ready to be ready. Once you're public, that's exciting, you've rang the bell, all those great things have happened, but now you must meet that compliance. You must comply with the SEC reporting, Sarbanes-Oxley, and a number of other considerations. So the most important thing is being ready, and that's where we help our clients every single day to see around corners and think what's next. So it's just a lot of excitement right now at our conference going on upstairs, and that's what we help each and every one of these companies with.
Well, that's right. And this is going to be published about 48 hours from now, so everyone's going to see it. And there is a phenomenal conference going on upstairs, folks. Sorry you're not here. But Mike, tell us a bit about how you choose clients. So do you see a company and say, they've got what it takes, they're gonna be there, and they need our advice?
Yeah, it's a great topic as well. When we look at a company, just like many others, we're looking at the management team and who we believe that we can bet on, we'd like to be associated with, and who we jive with. It's passionate about making a difference for their company, their shareholders, and potentially the world. So we really like to work with entrepreneurs that are passionate about making an impact. So that's the first thing we look at is the entrepreneur, the management team, and are they ready for the next steps, and can we help them? So it's a really nice place to be, and the great thing is a lot of times our clients say thank you, and that's a really nice place to be as well.
So Mike, what you're telling me is you actually identify the leader, the founder, and that's important to you.
It is important, especially with our client base. We do work with companies of all shapes and sizes, from pre-revenue companies through multi-billion-dollar organizations. And as entrepreneurs ourselves, we like working with other entrepreneurs in disruptive technologies, life sciences, fintech, and the like. So it's really nice to work with other companies that are fast movers and making an impact on the world.
So Mike, there's a lot of mayhem going on in the macro environment, if I can call it that. I'm not sure what else I would call it. Are your clients still feeling confident?
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, to say the least, right now, and we're probably only a few minutes around the next news release out there. But what I can tell you is, I think there's a lot of opportunity in uncertainty, and the companies, the entrepreneurs that we work with, I think they see the same thing. All of our clients are in the process of doing something. Is that an IPO? Most certainly. Is that a transaction? Is that an infusion of capital from private equity? Potentially. But everyone is excited about doing something. And I know the front page news and all that speaks to the uncertainty, but there's also a lot of opportunity out there. And if you're a good company with good fundamentals, there's never a bad time to go public. So I know everything we see out there. I can't tell you what the next 3 to 6 months hold, but I feel really good about what the next 10 to 12 months hold. And so there's a lot of companies upstairs.
So Mike, what you're telling me is, upstairs on the 10th floor, you have a lot of companies who have big dreams, right? Like they want to be public companies. And what you're saying is, if you run yourself properly, despite all this, I don't know what you call it, interference, mayhem, they haven't lost focus.
No, I think it's the same as it's always been. You need to be prepared. You need to, when it's time to go, you need to be ready. And the companies that we're working with them 18 to 24 months before a transaction. So maybe are you playing the timing a little bit? Are you ensuring that you're not letting your financial statements go stale and that they're prepared for when you are ready to hit that button? Perhaps. But I think they're keeping their eye on the prize. They're focused on the mission and what's best for their company, their people, and their shareholders.
Mike, I'm going to throw you a curveball here, if I may.
Sure.
Being a private company is, on some level, easier than being a public company. What kind of advice do you give to your clients when they say, I'm ready to take that leap?
Preparedness. I want to see what they have going on, want to see, and a lot of times it comes down to have they had audits completed? Do they have financial statements? Do they have readily available and reliable financial information to report? That's really important, of course, to go public, but to remain a current public filer in the marketplace. So very important that they are ready, they have the financial information, and also that they know what's coming down the pike next for their organization and constantly have that next news bite, but great, exciting things that are coming for their company.
So a news flow of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, so Mike, tell me if you have an institutional venture capitalist or private equity investor as your backer, aren't you kind of already ready? Because they demand like a pretty high level of reporting and so on?
It depends. It depends what industry you're in, what size. If you are a Series A, Series B, maybe you didn't have audit requirements yet. If you're more mature and you're a little further down the path, yes, you've likely had your audits done, but not to the standard of a publicly traded company. And of course, if you're working with a private equity institution, they're going to want to make sure that that exit occurs well. So they're thinking about readiness and preparedness as well.
So Mike, the reason I bring this up is because I'm in the business of covering companies that are about to go public. And what I notice sometimes is if you have a serious institutional backer, you're kind of ready to go. You're good. But if you're a family business, maybe not. Can you weigh in on that for me?
Yeah, I think to your point, if you're private equity backed, you've been getting those hard questions. You've been thinking about it. There's nowhere to hide. You mean to make sure you know what makes your company tick, what the fundamentals are, what the KPIs are, and what segments of the business you're investing in, and what you're focusing on. So I think that does help with the process. If you are a family-owned business or a early stage company, maybe these questions is the first time you're hearing them, and maybe you haven't put enough thought into them. And that's, again, where we like to help our clients think about what could be coming next. What are some of the questions and how you're going to look at these things, and then who are the other partners you need to work with to prepare you for the prime time.
So, Mike, I'm actually reflecting a bit on my own company here in a way. I appreciate the creativity that I have that's allowed to me, right? Because you know I control the company and so on. If I had someone on my shoulders, does that inhibit growth, or is it just for the best?
I think having good rules and compliance and best practices in place is helpful for a thriving company. And I think then you have the opportunity to have a board and independent members of your board that can help you think about what other ways to accelerate the growth of your business. So maybe perhaps a little bit of a hindrance to a true entrepreneur, but having good governance in place is always a good thing in my mind.
Well, it's funny, guys, our audience, I was talking about governance. This will be published on IPO Edge, but good governance is a big part of what we care about here and what we study. And it seems to me, Mike, that you encourage good governance throughout. Like it's not a box that you tick, right? It's a serious thing.
Yeah, I think it's an extremely serious thing, and this is a bit controversial, but I'm a huge fan of Sarbanes-Oxley. By that I mean internal controls, best practices, and running your business in the proper manner. And if we're going to utilize calling it Sarbanes-Oxley or internal controls to run the business the right way, to prepare for growth, I think that's the right way to do it. So I'm a huge fan of corporate governance, best practices, and doing things the right way. and it's going to help avoid hiccups later in the game.
So, Mike, I went a little bit off the map here. If you would, tell me something that you give as advice to your new clients. Say it's a small company with 10 people, but they have big dreams, right? And what should they do?
Yeah, I'm going to keep coming back to it. You need to prepare to be ready. And it's one thing to say, you know, I have my investor deck together, I have all those type of things, but if your financial house isn't in order, if you haven't been through your audit process, if you don't have clean reports, it's going to be extremely difficult to be public. It's going to be impossible to be public if you don't have good financial reporting in place. So for me, and you know, look, I'm an accountant, I'm a CPA, so I'm a little bit biased. I think it all starts with having good financial statements in place and a good financial house. From there, you know, you can grow your business and tell that story and go many places. But if you don't have your financial house in order, it's going to be a very short story.
Well, Mike, I mean, kill me for saying it, but I love that. So we're going to leave it there. This is Mike Aiello, who is the CEO and founder of Centri. I'm John Janarone, editor-in-chief of IPO Edge. Very thrilled to be here at Nasdaq MarketSite with Mike.